U.S. Senate has postponed a vote on new sanctions against Russia. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said the decision will wait until after Donald Trump meets with Vladimir Putin. That's according to Politico. Thune added he's been in close contact with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who is coordinating the sanctions package with the White House.
I think they're thinking that, see how this meeting goes in a couple of weeks with Putin. I think at least right now, Graham is working with the White House trying to determine whether or not that meeting that happens in a couple of weeks will be a fruitful one.
According to Politico, sources in the Senate say the bill has been effectively frozen until the Trump-Putin meeting. Meanwhile, the planned summit between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin is now in doubt. A meeting between Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, expected this week, has been postponed. Sources say that two were supposed to meet on Thursday to start preparing for the president's talks. But according to CNN, the meeting was called off for unknown reason. No official reason has been given for the postponement. However, one anonymous source told CNN it might be linked to deep differences between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov over what could be an acceptable end to the war in Ukraine. According to the network's sources, their last conversation showed that Moscow has not softened its maximalist demands, leading Rubio to likely advise against moving forward with plans for a Trump-Putin summit. Still, another contacts say the two might speak again later this week. In Moscow, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergey denied the reports, saying no meeting with the American side had been planned. The planned meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Budapest could be also at risk due to a possible arrest of the Russian dictator. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski said that Putin's plane could be forced to land for arrest if it flies over Polish territory. On Tuesday, in Rodzina radio interview, Sikorski was asked about the planned summit and speculations over whether the Russian leader could use a route over Poland where Russian flights are banned.
We cannot guarantee that an independent court would not order the government to detain such a plane to deliver the suspect to a tribunal in The Hague.
The Kremlin has rejected a ceasefire, insisting that Kyiv must first accept Russia's terms before any end to hostilities. According to a report by the Institute for the Study of War, there are currently no signs that Moscow is willing to settle for any less than Ukraine's full capitulation to all of its military demands. The Institute for the Study of War says that following phone talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, as well as Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, it has become clear that the Kremlin remains willing to expend significant human and other resources on the battlefield to achieve its demands if necessary.
Kremlin voices clarified Russia's position on negotiations following Western reporting about the October 17th Trump-Zelensky meeting in order to reiterate that Russia remains committed to addressing the alleged root causes of the war and is unwilling to agree to a ceasefire. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov responded to Western media reports about Trump's proposal for a ceasefire along the current front line, stating that Russia has responded to the many repeated statements on this matter and that Russia's position is well known and consistent.
Analysts at the Institute for the Study of War noted that the Kremlin has repeatedly cited so-called root causes for Russia's war against Ukraine. Russian officials have defined this as NATO's eastward expansion and alleged discrimination against Russian-speaking population in Ukraine. According to the Institute, the Kremlin uses discussions of these root causes to push its initial military demands: Ukrainian neutrality, removal of the legitimate government, installation of a pro-Russian administration, and changes to NATO's open-door policy. Analysts also point out that the Kremlin is preparing the Russian population for a total victory in Ukraine at any cost. This contradicts claim that Putin is willing to make territorial concessions and indicates he does not intend to retreat from his long-standing demands in any future peace negotiations. European Union countries that currently spend over 730 million euros per month on Russian gas are set to completely end these imports by January 1st, 2028. On October 20, EU energy ministers approved a draft regulation outlining a gradual phase-out of Russian natural gas.
The Council today agreed on its negotiating position on the draft regulation to phase out imports of Russian natural gas. The regulation constitutes a central element of the EU's REPowerEU roadmap to end dependency on Russian energy, following Russia's weaponization of gas supplies and repeated disruptions of gas supplies to the EU with significant effects on the European energy market.
The new regulation sets a gradual ban on gas imports from Russia, covering both pipeline and liquid gas. The full ban will start on January 1st, 2028. Russian gas imports will be limited from January 1st, 2026. Existing short-term contracts can be extended for another year, while long-term contracts can be continued until 2028. The regulation is not final yet. The Council President will start talks with the European Parliament to agree on the final version. Ukraine is helping Europe to reduce its dependence on Russian energy, not just gas but oil too, using drones. According to Reuters, on Sunday, October 19th, the Novokuybyshev oil refinery in Russia's Samara region stopped its main oil processing unit after a second drone attack this month. The refinery's main unit, CDU-11, has a capacity of nearly 19,000 tons per day. The previous shutdown happened after another attack last month. Sources say the refinery may only resume production in early November. Last year, the plant produced over 5.5 million tons of oil products, including gasoline, diesel, and fuel oil. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave your comments below.